Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Wow, today is such a beautiful day, and I decided to start today's video off with wholeness, resonance, and a lot of the particulars that brings us into what we kind of somewhat understand as the fifth dimensional level of consciousness. Now, and the reason why I'm starting from this angle particularly is that so when we do go into the live streams, you guys will have these video references to come back to. So there is a little bit of method to my madness. Because I am, as I've said, the live kind of girl. But once again, welcome to my channel. We're going to talk about wholeness, resonance, and because it is the angle to which coherence particularly operates from. In this essence of how consciousness is choosing to express when consciousness is expressing from wholeness. And there is a beauty about it. A lot of people are already somewhat operating from this particular aspect of being, and they are not unconsciously, even through a fragmented state, through the hustle state, that gets them in a particular once they actually move through the fragmented state, through the hustle state, they kind of somewhat by default kind of migrate themselves into this particular state. But by the time they get to this particular, unknowingly, this particular state of being, it kind of does something. It kind of runs amok on the nervous system, and all kind of things happen along the way. And so this is what makes life expectancies and different dis-ease come along in the process of everything, because it just runs havoc on the nervous system as a result of going kind of somewhat against the grain. But it's nevertheless, it's not bad, it's not good, it's just how the consciousness chooses to experience in its evolutionary state of expression. So it's not bad, it's not good, but I just wanted to move from this space of understanding from a different perspective, of course, because as I've said, this channel is about expression in wholeness, in coherence, in resonance, and this operation is expected for you guys to understand that you are the navigation through all of this, contrary to how the other aspect of how we've been choosing to express has navigated us previously, right? So, to give you an example of, now, the wholeness side of everything and the coherent side of everything is that through wholeness, you already know that you are everything, right? You are everything. You are the existent state of all things to which everything operates through you. And so the mindset in the present state is that presence is that everything operates through you. So you're not looking from an external perspective, because you come in the essence that instead of success being external of you, you begin to understand that you are the success that operates through you, right? You are the love that love is through you. So through love, that is you. Through success, that is you. And so the present moment allows for success to operate through you. And it has always been operating in that sense. It's just the perception allows for the diversion to give you that perceived state that it is external from you. But it has always been through you to give you that perceived state that it is external of you. So through you, it gave the perceived state that it was external of you so that you could have the fragmented perception that you were experiencing yourself outside of the wholeness of you, or the fragmented self, or the version of self outside of self. So when we get into experiencing in a state of awareness that we are the wholeness of self, experiencing self in the present moment, it changes the dynamic of how we experience reality, because we now understand that everything now is through us. And it kind of stops right there without having a perception of the external value, where it now breaks off to fragment that everything is, external. Because the fragmentation comes into part of you're breaking it up into pieces so that it can have an external perception that everything is outside of you, from a perception that it's happening to you, instead of happening through you. Okay. Because when you move in the essence of understanding that you are the field, in the field of perceptualizing the reality, you are the reality to which everything is happening through you. This is what allows the wholeness to remain intact. And this is where now you are the moment. You are the moment. And this is what allows for it to maintain where you're saying living in the present, or living in the now, or experiencing the now, or the present moment, because you are now realizing that the present moment is now and everything is happening to you. So you are the success. So you understand that whether you have the material reality, right, that the material reality already exists, whether you have it or not, because you understand that the physical plane of existence only allows for the material to crystallize itself in form for you to experience the physical aspect of the expression in itself. You are already whole, and the physical plane allows for that to materialize, so that you can experience, the car, or the trees, the leaves, or the biology of self. Now, when it comes to the biology, this is where the mixed signaling comes into part, and this is where this is where the critical part of this channel comes into existence, because we chose to experience reality in an alternate state to that to which we are in truth. The biology still sometimes have that alternate signal, and this is where we're now kind of reversing the state of that, to which we are now choosing wholeness and coherence, and changing the molecular state of how we are interpreting the reality to that to which is wholeness. So once our biology catches up to that to which who we are in consciousness, then you're going to start seeing how the physical plane starts to respond to that to which who we are in truth, and start to crystallize the reality, or bring shape and form into what it is that we want to experience in on the physical plane. And that is normally the last thing to take shape and form, is the physical reality, to which we kind of want to abruptly become, because that's what we are actually experiencing in the flesh. And so but we have to realize that, the biology is the more denser side of the experience. Just like, to give you an example of how biology takes time, when a woman is pregnant, it takes 9 months for the biology to come together to take shape and form. Okay. A lot of many different things. It's a more denser state. So it has to come together, it has to crystallize, it has to take shape and form in order for it to bring itself into the productionary state of being. But that the denser state of being. But in a sense of things that are already in shape and form, in terms of experiences, right? Experiences that are already in shape, that are already in form. Once your signal comes into a more safety, right? And you feel more safe within yourself, and you become more aligned with you now choosing coherence, in agreement with you becoming whole, then the reality will start to take shape and form, because now you feel safe, because you are now remembering self in wholeness. And so it has no choice but to honor that to which who you are in truth, because you are now becoming, remembering that you are reality itself. Okay, you are reality itself, experiencing itself. And chose to take shape and form in the human experience, to experience reality as such. And we're going to talk about this, once we get into the live stream. This will begin to make sense, because we'll be able to have, an exchange. And so when you come back to these videos and different things of that nature, you're going to be like, aha, I understand what Patrice is saying now, because I'll be able to have these particular types of exchanges with you, and so you will be able to put together what I'm saying here in these videos to the type of questions and different things that we're able to have exchanges on. But you are the reality experiencing, you are the field experiencing itself, and everything is happening in wholeness and in presence. You become to a state of awareness that everything, you are reality, and everything is experiencing, you are experiencing yourself through yourself. So you are success, you are abundance, you are everything that you feel that was external of you. You come into a state of awareness in the realization that all and everything has always been happening through you, even when you were in a state of an unconscious state of understanding of self, right? And you come to that knowing too as well, that remembrance as well. And so when you take the need and you begin to realize where all of this actually, your states begin to resonate vibrationally, where need was, where want was, and how those aspects of selves resonated in the, or migrated in the essence of lack and different things of that nature, and why the self would say, okay, well, if this is where you want to be, this is what, you're going to honor yourself in wholeness, that to which you want to experience, and you want to experience in wholeness that to which you are choosing, right? So in wholeness, when you, and you've always operated in wholeness, believe it or not, it's just that you didn't remember that was a mechanism that you were operating, because the perception was that you were experiencing a fragmented version of that to which, you know, you were still operating in wholeness, but you were experiencing that to which is fragmented, right? Because the perception allowed us to experience a fragmented version of self. So your wish was your command in the wholeness for you to experience the perception of fragmentation. And so therefore the external value allowed for us to see ourselves in a separation of self, have, so many different thoughts come into play, because we saw things from an external value, not realizing that everything had to come through us in order for it to be, right? It always had to come through you in order for it to be, okay? Because you were the field, you are the field of self, right? So it had to come through you in order for it to actually be, whether it was, in pieces or in wholeness, however you perceived it, it had to come through you in order for it to actually be. And so when we come to that sense of understanding of what wholeness is, and wholeness is in presence, and then we begin to understand what is aligned, what is misaligned, and different things of that nature. A lot of why you are here now, the truth be told, is because things were just not aligning, okay? Things was just misaligning, and you was just not a happy camper. You know what I'm saying? It's like you were not a happy camper. You were like, what is going on here? I am like, I'm doing my affirmations, and everything is just not, going in a way that I would like for it to go. And I see everybody else doing what they're supposed to do, and it's just not working for me. And this is probably one of the reasons, if not many other reasons, why you have aligned to this channel. There's a signal to this channel, because I'm doing everything that I could possibly do, and it's just not working for me. And a lot of it has a lot to do with you not understanding. There's a stronger signal within you that is, how can I say, your sovereign state. So that is the deeper aspect of you, and your sovereign state is a very strong signal. And so when it's ready to align, that is the part that is going to supersede everything that you're trying to do for yourself. So if you're trying to get into the hustle, to try to perceive that it is fluid, and that hustle frequency is not in alignment to that to which who you are in truth in your sovereign state, it's not going to work. You're going to try everything, and it's just not going to it's not properly aligned to the coherent, to that to which is of your sovereign state, right? And so this is probably why you are also here too as well. So remember, I told you in my last video, in my welcoming video, I'm always going to refer you back to the welcoming video, because it tells you about your signature, your energy signature that is unique by design. And yes, we do have a lot of similarities, but the wholeness of self, in order to experience the diversity of self, when it decides to experience itself in essences, each essence has a signature, right? A unique signature, so that it can experience itself in its unique diversity. And that is what you have. That is what we have in essence, is a unique diversity. So, even though we have, that similarity that allows us to have this unification that brings us back together again, right? That, that Humpty Dumpty, had a great fall, and, breaks into the fragmented self. But then the unification, the similarities that allows us to come back into form and unification, that this is what this is, us, coming together to bring us ourselves back unto ourselves. We're utilizing sources to come back unto ourselves, right? So that's the unified self, right? So we have the signature to have the individual aspect of experiencing self, and then we have the force of self that brings us the unified self back unto ourselves. Okay, so that's what the wholeness of self, as far as the present moment, the presence of self, living in the present moments, the unified self, the unified field, understanding that everything comes through you. You realize that the oneness of self, right? The field of self. But the signature of self is what gets us back to the oneness of self. And that is a force to be reckoned with, because when you're getting back to the oneness of self, that type of hustle essence, it's not gonna work. And you're going to see that it's working for everybody, but that field, for them, for that signature, it's going to work for that essence until that sovereign signature, that really fine signature, that is of that essence, it just has not yet decided to be where you are at now. But when that beacon turns on, when it's ready to really go into the depth of its sovereign, then that hustle state is not going to work for them anymore either. No, it may be working for them now, and it has gotten them in spaces and places and to where you feel that you might think that you want to be at or whatever, and you're looking like, how is that the hustle is working for them and they're doing it and everything? Yeah, because their sovereign signature is a little bit relaxed. But when that beacon comes on full-fledged, it repels that frequency of hustle. It repels it. It's no longer in an alignment with that frequency, and it's just not going to appeal. And you're going to now have to become in a coherency to that to which who you are in truth, to that to what your sovereign state has now come online to become, in the truth of who you are. And so that's what's happening, you guys. This is why you guys are here. This is where, and this space is I don't think it's I don't think it's lonely or anything like that, but it is a quiet space. You know what I'm saying? It's not a loud space. It's a very quiet space, because now you are coming out of what I would perceive as the chaos, and the chaos energy, the confusing energy, and it's more of an organized self, because you are now in a state of an expanded sense of understanding and an aware state of sense of understanding. And when you get into the wholeness of self, you understand yourself more, and you also understand where you were expressing from. But the biology now has to catch up, and so that's the more denser side of the experience. And so that's where the biology will now have to catch up. But you just stay in constant agreement. Your awareness will, once your awareness, become a little bit more stronger, that signal becomes a little bit more stronger, because once your awareness comes online fully, there really is no turning back. It is what it is. There's no turning back. And you're just in that space, and you're going to be, especially if you're in a shared field with family, friends, and different things of that nature that are still choosing, what we perceive as 3D consciousness, where it's still, that fragmented state of being, that fight or flight state or freeze state of being. You're still, if you're still sharing fields in that, you're still going to be in the midst of that. But that decision at a soul level or a deeper state, It's very strong, and you're going to it will stabilize your nervous system. I call what I've gone through the return. The return to, at first I called it the return back into a stabilized sense of being within the density consciousness, because it was about being able to withstand density without having to fragment, you know what I'm saying, without fragmentation. But now I understand that it's the return to self in wholeness, understanding that return in completion of self. And it's not necessarily like completion, like, oh my God, it's like I'm done or finito or finalized in that regard. But just having a sense of awareness of that you are the feel, you are reality, and reality of itself is being expressed through you. It's not happening to you. It is happening through you. And regardless of whether you experience abundance in a crystallized state, in the physical plane, on the plane of self, the physical plane of self, you know that you are abundance, whether or not you crystallize abundance in form or not. You know that you are abundance. You know that you are success. It's through, because what happens is that the biology still, your physical vessel, because your physical vessel went through what it went through in agreement to experience survival state, fragmented in in threat state, always looking and perceiving things from a threatened state, anything that was going to threaten the reality, it was always going to protect that. It always stayed in protection mode, because everything it perceived to threaten the chosen reality, it stayed in threat mode to protect it, right? So with those particular types of stresses on the biology, the manifestation of certain, realities is probably, it's going to take a little bit more time to bring into crystallization, to bring into form. So if you're one of the ones that like I got to see it in form, and that delay is going to be off-putting in terms of how you understand reality of yourself in wholeness, and that, that could alter your state. You could still be in an altered state of perception, right? But when you get into this particular state of being, and you realize that, okay, well, I did put some stress on my biology when I chose to experience reality in an alternate state. My biology is now trying to become attuned into what my expanded awareness is. But regardless of whether my biology become attuned or not, I still know, and I am still aware that whether the physical plane of existence or awareness says, crystallized reality or not, I am success, I am abundance, I am all that is, regardless if the physical plane materialize that or not. Eventually it will. Your biology will eventually catch up. It is a very intelligent instrument, believe it or not. It's very, very smart. And we're going to talk about all of that. I'm so excited with the expanded awareness that is being afforded. Even now, I don't want to make these videos too long, because I can go on and on and on. I love my lives, because my lives go for hours, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to make these videos too long. But I do want to give you guys something to come back to, so when we do get into lives, you'll have these particular things to revert back to in short form. And we'll be able to talk about it and different things of that nature. But your biology has a lot to do with how things are manifesting in physical form. No matter how expanded your awareness are, no matter how, you become one with self in wholeness in terms of the awareness, your biology is the ticket to how things crystallize in the reality, in form, in, how this actually worked. And as I said, with this particular channel, we are operating in resonance. We are operating in coherence. We are operating in wholeness. We have chosen to experience, reality in form, in this chosen reality without fragmenting. So that is how the chosen consciousness. Now, are you going to have some, ebbs and flows? Of course, we are going to have some ebbs and flows and different things of that nature. But the coherence is that when you do have the, the ebbs and come back into the flow state, right, which is a coherent state, the ebbs is going to bring you back into the flow state, right? You're going to come right back up. And this is where we're going to maintain the coherent state of the wholeness state of you within the present moment, with knowing that you are the reality to which reality is being experienced through. So with that being said, once again, this video is about wholeness and understanding wholeness from a whole nother different perspective than that to which probably is being understood at this time. And if you have gotten this far into the video, please drop a comment in terms of what you understand about this video. And if you, like I said, if you understand this video, that means there is a resonant chord to it. And if you don't understand this video, I am not running you away. Because if you're open, as I've said, if you're open, if you stick around long enough, you will become attuned. And that means that you're curious. You are ready for some type of change if you are here. Okay. And it may sound like Charlie Brown teacher right now, but if you stick around long enough, you will become attuned. So I'm not running you. So you too can leave a comment too as well. I may not understand, but I'm here. And you know what? That's suffice. That's enough. And I will be so grateful for that too as well. So, like, subscribe. Please definitely subscribe to the channel. Like the video. And if you feel that this video is, could be beneficial for someone that is also, related to what you are now going through, and you guys have something in common, and you feel that this video could assist them too as well, please share the video too as well to those who that would benefit, that is aligned to this particular content as well. So please like and subscribe and share. And so thank you. And look, be on the lookout for a lot of different things in the community channel, the community board, and different things that I put out there as well, because we're in it to win, and we're in it to bring clarity. And I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm going to give you guys some interesting things about my life. That's what's happening and different things of that nature, and how I got to this point. But I wanted to talk about wholeness. So, and that I did today. So I am grateful. So I'll be talking to you guys on the next go around, and happy Sunday, and enjoy the remainder of your day. Talk to you guys later.